Hey everyone, welcome to CO BBQ, where we have smoky peaks and savory meats. Today we're going to be doing Thanksgiving. I'm going to put the turkey on for 4 hours on the Traeger. That first hour we're just going to use the super smoke setting, really enhance the flavor of the smoke. It's a Cajun bird, so I do want those flavors to really mend well together, but we're going to use that hour to really enhance the smoke flavor. After that, it's going to cook for an hour and a half uncovered. We're going to pull it off, add a butter margarine mix all over the bird, wrap it in tinfoil, and put it back on for an hour and a half. During that time, we're also going to be doing a gravy, because what's turkey without gravy? So hopefully you like this video. Definitely appreciate it if you leave me a comment, hit that thumbs up, it really helps. Also, subscribe to my channel. We're going to be doing briskets, pork shoulders, all sorts of stuff. So if you like what you're seeing, I really recommend subscribe to my channel. It helps me out a lot. So let's get into it. For the smoked turkey, we're actually going to spatchcock it. So a lot of people are a little bit intimidated by this. It's not that hard. Take some kitchen shears. Highly recommend getting a pair of these. Good quality ones will help this process out quite a bit. As you can see, here's the spine. We're just going to cut along each side of it. So we removed the backbone, flipped it over, pressed down on the center. That splayed open the turkey, lifted up the thighs, tucked the wings behind it. Now we're going to go ahead and inject it with some butter, honey, and chipotles mixed together. When you inject it, make sure to rock your needle back and forth. That's going to allow it to get little pockets and not just concentrate it. When you just inject it normally, when you slice into the turkey, you're going to see those little layers of the injection liquid. You want it to really get into the meat, and working it back and forth allows that a little bit better. Not only are we going to do that, but we lift up the skin, make sure we can get to the actual meat of the thighs and the breasts themselves. And we're going to be using this Golden Toad Cajun mix. Heavy-handed season this on the thighs and the breasts, and then cut off some of this extra skin, and we're going to toss it on the smoker. Like I said, that super smoke setting for about an hour. Then we're going to crank up the heat and let it actually cook. So let's get to seasoning. All right, remove extra skin. Really get in there with the seasoning. This is a larger chunk of meat, so definitely good to excuse me, get some seasoning. Cajun seasoning, definitely. Try not to inhale it. A lot of spices in there will make you cough, but we really want it to get into the areas that we typically don't get a lot of seasoning for. Like I said, when you spatchcock it, you definitely can reach areas typically you don't season. Alright, that's probably plenty. Looking really good. Let's do our injection. Get this pumped up and throw it on the grill. So we have our melted butter. Throw that in our container. Delicious. Then we're going to add 2 of these chipotle peppers and some of the sauce. Now, to give it a little bit of sweetness to balance out from that heat, add quite a bit of honey. Perfect. We're going to use our immersion blender, blend this up, and then strain out the seeds from the chipotle peppers. So we blended up the honey, chipotle, butter. We're just going to sift through all the seeds from the chipotle peppers. So you don't want, obviously, that clogging up your injection. So, that to the side. Highly recommend buying one of these injector guns. You can set the different depths for the trigger. Allows you to control how much injection you're putting into the bird. This is a lot thicker of an injection, so go a little slow. That way you don't get a bunch of air bubbles. We're gonna inject it all over, but when we go in, I like to rock back and forth, create that little pocket, and you can see the breast pumping up with the injection. So I have my trigger set at about 170 with that super smoke on. We're gonna toss this on and get a lot of smoke flavor into it as quick as we can before we crank up the heat. So we just cranked up that Traeger, 245 degrees. We're gonna let that go for 30-45 minutes, check on it. Definitely don't wanna just walk away from it. You wanna make sure that you're rotating it if it's getting too brown on one side. We're gonna hit it with some apple cider vinegar, make sure that the outside of the skin stays cool, doesn't overdo it, doesn't crisp up, create that burnt taste. We really don't want that. I use apple cider vinegar. You don't really want to use anything with a bunch of sugars in it because that can create a browning effect and a burning effect very quickly. But while we're inside waiting for that 30 to 45 minutes, we're going to do the gravy. So we have bread flour here, and I'm going to list all the measurements down below. Onion, lemons, carvings from the turkey. I have 4 breasts sous vide right now, so I have a bunch of extra backbone, wings, thighs, all of that. That's what's in this bag. We're gonna brown that up with the massive amounts of butter that goes into gravy, and then take some of those chunks of meat and put it into the gravy, so that way there is turkey actually in the gravy as well. You don't have to do that. You can definitely make it without the turkey. Salt, sherry vinegar, garlic. I also used some of the other cuttings to make my own turkey broth. So we'll need turkey broth, or you can just use chicken broth. A little bit of black pepper, and then MSG. And I know what you're saying, MSG is bad. Hopefully you do some research on it. I think that the stigma around MSG has definitely been publicized, and it's a lot better nowadays. It's a great flavoring. Umami really hits the taste buds very well. So again, you don't have to use it. I truly believe that these ingredients make a delicious gravy. So we're gonna start by adding that butter to the pan and getting it browned up. So it's been about an hour at that 170 super smoke setting. Looking really good. All that smoke is getting into the turkey meat. It's a good time to hit it with some apple cider vinegar. And we're going to crank up the heat a little bit. It's about 240. That's going to actually start the cooking, not just give it that smoke flavor. Make sure you always have a water bath. That's going to keep it hydrated inside the chamber and make sure that things don't get dried out. So let's crank up the heat and we'll go in and start making the gravy. You're going to throw this butter in there, start getting it browned up. It takes about 4 to 5 minutes to get browning on the butter. Cool, so I pulled out the bones. The butter is looking really brown. We're gonna add garlic and onions to this. One onion and some garlic. We have really good coloration on the onions and the garlic right now, so I'm going to add in that bread flour, thicken this up. We just added in the flour, starting to get real thick. We want to continually whisk this, make sure it doesn't stick to the bottom and burn. We're going to look for a little bit darker brown than this. We do want the flour to actually cook and make that roux fully combined. Time to add that turkey stock. All right, so this is looking excellent. Really good thickness. We're gonna add in our seasoning, salt, MSG, black pepper, the sherry vinegar, a little bit of lemon juice, and then we're gonna use the immersion blender to really mix those in and incorporate them. And then I'm just letting the turkey bits cool down a little bit. We'll peel some of that cooked turkey off, throw it back in here, and this is gonna be pretty much good to go. Excellent. That is awesome gravy. I really hope you guys try it out. And then let's go check on that turkey. All right. Looking really good. Coloration's good. Hit that a little bit more. And we're gonna check the temperature on this guy. 120. So we got just a little bit longer on that. We want it to be about 130, and we're gonna pull it off, wrap it in tin foil with some butter mix, throw it back on here, crank this up to about 300 degrees and finish it off. Turkey is looking absolutely amazing, really good coloration, not burnt. We're gonna wrap it in foil. Before we do that, we're gonna stick some thermometers in it to make sure that we have a proper reading in the thigh and the breast. And we're gonna go ahead and add this butter margarine mix. And we're gonna slather all over the skin, wrap it in that tin foil. Go ahead and try to place it as carefully as we can into this baking sheet, then back onto the oven. Smoker. You can throw it in the oven as well at 300 degrees. We set our smoker at 300 degrees. That's gonna finish off this cook. If the butter does melt, goes outside the tin foil, that's what this is for, is just to make sure you're not getting melted butter all over your smoker. So let's go ahead and get a few of these pieces. You do want the shiny side towards the meat, not reflecting the heat. You want it to absorb. The dull side actually absorbs it, makes it more of that oven that we're talking about. So shiny side towards the meat. Let's get another piece. This is fairly warm. There we go. That's looking pretty good. I'm also going to add a little bit of seasoning on top of the butter as well. We laid this out not too long ago, so that way it's pliable. Season this up. Perfect. And we're gonna not forget the thermometer. Want to make sure we're getting into a deep portion. Actually, this one I'm going to go in a little bit backwards, so that way it doesn't rip the tin foil. I'm also going to attempt there we go. Flip this, breast side down, keeps that butter near the breast instead of dripping into the cavity where we're not going to eat any of the bones or anything. So flipping it to the breast side down will allow that butter to stay where we want it to. All right, let's get this back on the grill. Alright, so I completely screwed up and forgot to film unwrapping the turkey from the tin foil. Completely apologize for that. Hopefully these plating pictures do it justice. We did pull that off with the breast temping at about a 150 and the thighs at 175. So again, I really hope you enjoyed this video. Please give me that thumbs up. I am completely sorry I didn't have the complete video of me unwrapping it, but trust me, this turkey turned out amazing. It was so juicy, smoke flavor, Cajun flavor, it was great. Also, that gravy that we did turned out unbelievable. It was good on absolutely everything. So I hope you enjoyed this. Please leave me a comment below, and I'll catch you next time.